So in the previous session, we were discussing about image file formats. We'll be continuing the same topic today. Okay. So we had discussed what is the two categories of image file formats, raster and vector images. Now today we'll be discussing about system dependent formats and system independent formats. Okay. And also the application dependent formats. So previously we had discussed about raster graphics, vector graphics, the difference between raster images and vector images. So we had discussed about all these differences. This third category of format called as encapsulating format, which can contain both raster and vector graphics. So we had discussed till there in the previous session. Now today we'll be continuing with image formats, but we'll be discussing about what are the various system dependent formats and what are the system independent formats. Okay, so let's see system dependent formats first. So as the name implies, system dependent format means a particular format which is dependent upon the system where you are executing it, where you are storing or playing that file. That is what is meant by a system dependent format. So when you see most of the graphic or imaging applications, they create image files in their own native format, and they are mostly dependent upon the system where they are created or executed. That is a system dependent format. So one drawback of this system dependent formats is that they are proprietary and you cannot port them, or they're not compatible with other platforms. So that's one drawback of system dependent formats. So examples of system dependent formats are Windows bitmap, which you are familiar with, MacDraw, PIC format. All these are examples of system dependent formats. So I think you're familiar with the Windows bitmap format or BMP format. So BMP is very popular example of system dependent format. That means it is not compatible. When you port that particular image or image to any other platform, it won't work properly. Right? So today let's discuss about this format, which is called as Windows bitmap format. Okay, so this is specified in your syllabus as well. So let's discuss this in a little detail. So Windows bitmap is a format which was brought about by Microsoft Windows. So there are two ways in which Windows bitmap exists. One is the device independent bitmap format, DIB format. So there are two types of Windows bitmap files. One is the Windows dependent format, Windows bitmap, and the other is the DIB format. So Windows bitmap files come in these two categories: Windows bitmap files and the bitmap files in DIB format. So this second category, the device independent bitmap, is as the name implies, is independent of the device or platform. But whereas the Windows bitmap is dependent upon the Windows platform. So we know that it is used in Windows Paintbrush and other programs, the bitmap format. It is capable of storing 24-bit images. So the standard size of bitmap images is that it is capable of storing 24-bit bitmap images, whereas the device independent format. So what is meant by device independent? Device independent format means how you display, how it is represented is independent of how it is displayed. That means basically it is independent of the platform or operating system where you are executing or using that particular format. So just understand that Windows bitmap comes in two types. One is a Windows dependent bitmap format and the other is a device independent format, DIB, which is compatible with other platforms also. Okay, so now the extension for Windows bitmap file is .bmp, something which you're already familiar of. Now what we have to study is the file format of Windows bitmap file. So we have to study in detail what is the format of a bitmap file. So we are going to see the format of a bitmap file. Okay. So the Windows bitmap file has three important components. Okay, a bitmap file header, a bitmap information header, and a color table. Now the question is, why is it referred to as a Windows bitmap format? Why do we refer it to as bitmap format? Does anyone know the answer to that question? As Vaibhav said, information is stored in the form of pixels in the case of a bitmap image. Your information, whatever the color information is, whatever the pixel information, it is stored in terms of bits. That is how the name bitmap came about. So in a bitmap format, whatever information, whatever color information you want to store, that is stored in the form of pixels, or which is in turn represented in terms of bits. That is how the name bitmap came about. It's a very simple standard, highly standardized, and a format which is widespread. Okay, and there are two formats of it, as I said, the Windows bitmap file and the device independent file. Okay, so that's how the name bitmap came about. Now we are going to study about the file format of Windows bitmap files. As I said, it has three sections. The first section is a file header. The second section is an information header. And the third section is a table which is called as a color table, which contains all the information related to the colors, whatever colors are being used in that particular image. So basically a kind of mapping about what colors are used in that particular image is stored in the color table. So every bitmap file will have these three sections: a header, an information header, and a color table which will contain the color information. Okay. So now let's see the structure of the bitmap file in detail. Okay. So the file header is the first component of your bitmap file. It stores the information about the type of the file, the size of the file, and the layout of the file. So basically it means what kind of file it is. Type is nothing but bitmap. Size of the file, that means its dimensions, and layout, that means X and Y coordinates. All these information are there in the first section, which is called as the file header. The second section, which is called as the information header, contains information about the dimension. That means little more detailed information about the dimensions and color format of the image. That's what is there in the information header. And the third part contains the actual pixel data. That is the actual image data and the color table information. Okay. Now we'll see, you will get it clear when we see the actual structure of the file header, information header, and bitmap image. Okay. So just understand that every bitmap file has three sections: file header, information header, and the actual bitmap data. Now what you see in front of you is a table which has some information. So what is this information? You can see here three fields. The first field is a field name. The second field is how many size every field takes up. And the third field is the description of that field. Okay. So it means what description means, what the field is about. So these are the fields which you will find in a bitmap file header. Okay. We are talking about the bitmap file header. So the file header contains all these information. It contains the file type, bitmap file type. So there in that field you have the characters BM. So BM stands for bitmap. So if some protocol or some device is examining this particular file header, it gets to know that this is a bitmap file from this field. So what is there in that field? That field has this letters BM, which stands for bitmap. So that particular protocol or that particular device which is examining this file, image file, gets to know that this is a bitmap file. So that is the first field, that is file type, bitmap file type. Okay. The second field is BF size. So that means how much is the size of the file. Okay. The size of the file in bytes is mentioned in that particular field. So you can see here every field takes up these many bytes. Okay. So total your bitmap file header will be of 14 bytes. So BF type field has a size of 2 bits. BF size field has a size of 4 bytes. Then you have two other fields which are reserved, which take up 2 bytes each. And then you have an offset field which takes up 4 bytes. So total, every bitmap file header will be of 14 bytes. Okay. So that is the size of the whole file header. Now what is contained in this field is the size of the file, is the size of your image. How much is the size of your bitmap file in bytes? That is what is contained in this field. Then you have two fields, BF reserve 1 and BF reserve 2, which are normally set to 0. Those are reserved bits which are normally set to 0. Okay. And then the last field in the file header is the offset, contains the offset of the pixel data. That means where actually your address, where your actual pixel data is starting. So it contains the offset value to the start of the pixel data. So as I had said, every bitmap file will have 3 sections. First it will have the file header, then followed by the information header, and then you will have the actual bitmap data, right? So where does this actual bitmap data begin from? That offset value will be contained in this last field. So these are the information that will be stored in the bitmap file header. Okay. So I'll show you how a bitmap file header looks like.
Ma'am, I have a doubt.
Yes.
In the previous one, ma'am, if BF reserved 1 and BF reserved 2, what does that do? If it is always 0, it must be 0, then why it is required there?
See, it might be used for by some other protocols or device during transmission or something like that. I have not researched it into detail, but I'll let you know. Okay, I'll just find it out and let you know.
Okay.
Normally, the reserved fields are used by other protocols when something is being transmitted over the network. So you have mechanisms like checksum, error calculation, all that, right? So normally the reserved fields are used up by other protocols which work on the internet. I'll just get back to you, okay? After doing a little research.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Who asked me the question?
Dhruvan.
Dhruvan. Okay. Okay. So this is how a bitmap file header looks like. So this is the same information as in this table. Okay. So the header is this is the header. This is the body of the header. So type def struct. So it's implemented using the structure concept. So you can see all those fields over here. So the first field is our type field, which contains the characters BM. The second field is the size field, which contains the size of our file in bytes. Then you have two reserved bits, which is normally set to 0. Then you have the offset field, which will give you where your actual image data is starting. So this is the bitmap header, file header, which contains the information. Okay. Now let's have a look at the second component, which is called as the bitmap information header. Okay. So here you have a lot more information, especially related to the dimensions of the image. Okay. So you can see here bitmap size. So this is talking about how much the header size is, size of the information header. Okay. Then you have the width information, height information. So how much is the image width in pixels? How much is the image height in pixels? Those are given in these two fields. Then you have how many planes the image has. That is normally 1. Then you have the bit count. That means how many bits are used to represent 1 pixel. So that could vary. It could be 1 bit, 2 bit, 4 bit, 8 bit, depending upon the bit depth of your image. That information will be stored here. What is the bit depth of your image? How many bits are taken up to represent 1 pixel? Okay, that is what is called as bit count. That is another field. Then compression. Okay, normally bitmap images are uncompressed, even though they can support run length encoding. Okay, normally bitmap images are uncompressed. So the compression type is normally set to 0. So there's a field which will tell you whether your image is compressed or uncompressed. Normally it is set to 0, even though it supports run length encoding. Okay. Then you have another field which will tell you the image size. So it will be normally 0 for uncompressed images and if it is 1, that means there has been some manipulation to the size of your actual image. That means it is compressed. Okay, then you have the resolution, preferred resolution in pixels per meter, and resolution that is in x dimension and in y dimension. So you have the resolution in the x dimension and y dimension. The next two fields are about the preferred resolutions in pixel per meter for the x dimension and for the y dimension. Then you have the number of color map entries that is used in that particular image. So the next field stores the number of color which you have used from the color table. Then you have the entry of number of significant colors that is used in your image. Okay, the major or significant colors that are used in your image, that will be there in this last field. So this information header, as you can see, has lot more information about the dimensions of the image, about the compression, that whether compression has been applied or not, and about the resolution of the image, and little information about the color map entries, that is number of color map entries, that is number of colors that has been utilized in this image, and what are the number of significant colors, how many significant colors you have used in this image. So information header gives you some more information about the dimensions and color. Okay, so this is how your information header looks like. So as you can see here, you have the header size, which is our first field in this table. Then you have the width, height, planes, bit count. So you can see here the next field will give you the width and height. Next field is about the number of planes, then number of bits which are taken up to represent a pixel, then whether compression is applied or not. Next will tell you whether the image size is changed or not, then the X resolution and the Y resolution, then the number of color map entries, colors which has been utilized in the image, and the number of significant colors. So these are the entries or information which you will get from the header, okay, by examining the information header. And the third section, as I said, is the actual image data. So your actual image data will be represented like this. So you have a structure over here where you have the RGB colors specified. Okay, so your every pixel will be represented as an RGB triplet. So whether your pixel, whatever color you want to represent, that is represented in terms of RGB only, right? So that will be represented as every pixel information will be represented as an RGB triplet. Okay, so either this format is used, or this format is used. So normally information is represented in this particular format. So this is the third section in your image data, which stores the actual image about all the pixels which are there in your image. So these are the important sections of a bitmap file. Okay, so normally bitmaps are uncompressed in nature. So, okay, so you have to keep that in mind. Bitmap images are normally uncompressed unless you apply run length encoding on them. Okay, so that is a system dependent format. Now we'll see what are the various system independent formats. So as you are familiar, there are many system independent formats like GIF, JPG, TIFF, PNG. All the ones that we normally use are the examples of system independent formats. Okay, let's see them one by one. The first format is GIF format. What does GIF stand for? GIF stands for Graphic Interchange Format, right? So it was devised by the Unisys Corporation and CompuServe. I think I had mentioned about this company before when we are talking about fax. So facsimilar messages, the CCIT protocols. So GI format was devised by Unisys Corporation and CompuServe together by them, and it was developed mainly for animated images, right? So GIF formats normally use the compression algorithm, which is called as Lempel-Zipfelt. I think I mentioned about this algorithm before also, LZW algorithm. It is just a modification of a Huffman algorithm. So GIF image format normally use the LZW compression technique for compressing. So unlike bitmap images, GIF is a compressed format. Okay, normally images are stored in compressed form by applying LZW algorithm. Another speciality of GIF images is that it is limited to 8-bit. 8-bit, that means it can have maximum 256 different colors. So this is one particular feature of GIF images which you have to keep in mind, that it can support only limited number of colors. Okay, because of that reason, GIF images have a lower size and they are quick to load. And so they support a particular rendering technique which is called as interlacing mode. Okay, so where your image will appear to load very quickly but pixelates itself over time and then it finally becomes clear. So in applications where you want your image to appear quickly, very quickly, you will be going for this format, GIF format. So there are different variants of GIF format. GIF 89A is a variation of GIF format. Used for animation. So then normal applications which allow you to edit GIF images are CorelDRAW, Photoshop, etc. Things which you're already familiar about. So GIF is one format which is system independent, right? Another system independent format is JPG, the one which we normally use in Word and Microsoft Word and other Office documents, right? So as we have discussed, JPG is a format which uses lossy compression, right? So some amount of information is lost in the case of JPG images because it is a compressed image format. Now tell me, what is the difference between JPEG and JPG, or are they the same? Is there a difference between JPEG and JPG? Anyone? You might have saved images in .jpg format, and you might have saved image in .jpg format also. Do you know what is the difference between .jpg and .jpg? Is there a difference or are they the same? Does anybody know, or have you ever thought about this? No idea?
Ma'am, can you repeat?
Is there a difference between .jpg format and .jpg, or are they the same? You might have saved images, right? When you're
I
saving,
believe they are the same.
okay. Then why is there two different ways in which you denote the same file type? Does anyone know the answer? No? No. I was also not knowing the answer. Recently only I got to know the answer of what is the difference between .jpg and JPG. So there's no difference between .jpg and JPG as such. The only difference is that earlier Windows operating system had a restriction that file names could be only of 3 characters. The file extensions could be only of 3 characters. Okay, so earlier there was a restriction on Windows operating systems that extension should be of only 3 characters. That was when this was cut short to JPG, .jpg. So because of that restriction, .jpg extension was modified to .jpg, so that E was omitted. But basically there's no difference between .jpg image formats and .jpg image formats. Okay, they are both the same. They both use the lossy compression. Have you come across this particular image formats .jpg 2000, which is normally denoted using this extension? This is yet another system independent file format, JPG 2000. Have you seen these extensions? These are again JPG files only, but the difference, this was actually brought about to replace our normal JPG files. So we know that normal JPG uses lossy compression, right? some amount of information gets lost. But JPG 2000 was a compression technique which was supposed to be lossless and which was brought about to replace this our earlier JPG standard. Okay, so it is based on a technology called as wavelet technology, wherein your information will not be lost because of the lossy compression. Okay, so if you use this technology instead of your normal JPG, storing your images in .jpg format, what you will find is that your images will have a higher quality, okay, than our old JPG format, because it uses a different technology called as wavelet technology, where your information will not be lost when compression is applied. Okay, so JPG 2000 is just a compression technique, and the files are stored with this extension .jpg2 and .j2k if you are using this particular file format. Okay, so this is yet another system independent file format which is slightly different from your old .jpg format. Okay, so you can see here 3 images. This is JPG image. This is your original image, the one which is there in the center. Now this is an image which is JPG compressed, okay, on which JPG compression, the normal lossy compression is applied. Now you can see here, this is an image which is JPG 2000 compressed, okay. So basically this is compressed using our wavelet technology. So you can see how clear this image is in comparison with this image, okay. So you can see the difference in size also. This is 6 KB, your original image was 700 KB. This is 6 KB, but the clarity is very less when you apply lossy compression. Some amount of information is lost. This is also 6 KB, and this is compressed using our wavelet technology, but you can see a lot of information being retained, right? This is very similar to your original image, okay? So that's about JPG file formats. Then we have already discussed about the image file format called TIFF, right? Right? We had discussed about this. It is developed by the Aldus Corporation in the 1980s, and this is mainly used by the printing industry, right? So when you want to again revisit, go back and edit your images again and again, you will be using TIFF, because TIFF is in comparison to JPG, TIFF is a lossless format. So we had discussed about the TIFF image file format in detail, right? So this is yet another system independent file format. Okay, another one, PNG. PNG is also a system independent file format. So this was basically designed to replace the GIF format and also to replace the TIFF format. But TIFF is TIFF is a format that is commonly used in printing industries, and you want to print images at very high quality or resolution. So PNG is the speciality of PNG is that it loses very little image information when you apply compression in comparison to GIF and BMP also. So you can see here 2 images which are stored in, this is stored in BMP format and this is stored in PNG format. Okay, so the bitmap on the left side, this one is of 200 KB, whereas this one is of 120 KB, right? You cannot make out much differences between this image and this image. So this BMP image is uncompressed and it has a size of 200 KB, whereas this PNG image is compressed image and it has a size of 120 KB, but you cannot make out much difference between these 2 images, right? So you can use PNG as an alternative for PMP if you want to reduce the storage size of your file. So where you will use a particular format depends upon what application you are using it for, what are your storage requirements, and also on other processing requirements. Okay, so different file formats are used for different applications depending upon the storage, depending upon the quality that is expected, and other factors. So those are the system independent file formats. Now you have a third category of file format which is called as application dependent formats. Okay, So what are the application dependent formats? The formats which are native to the application, right? So you know the native file format of Adobe Photoshop is PSD. Paint Shop Pro has a format .psp. So different applications are there on native formats. That is what is called as application dependent formats. So there are three categories in which you can classify image file formats. One is the system independent one, the other is the system dependent one, and the third one is the application dependent file format. Okay. Now there's a small task for you. Give me the answers for these questions. Okay. Come on, be quick. Commonly used, which is the file format that is commonly used when saving photographs for print? Answer? Give me the answer. Which is the file format that is normally used when saving photographs for print?
PNG?
No. We are talking about the printing industry, okay? We are talking about the
TIFF.
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 Yes. Now give me the answer for this one. Common file type for web projects where an image needs to load very quickly as opposed to one that needs to retain a higher level of quality. Okay, so quality is not our concern here. Our requirement is that the image needs to load very quickly. Then which format will be using?
GIF.
GIF, right. Third one, used in most web projects, and the requirement is that there's some grammar mistake here, ignore that. You can save your image with more colors on a transparent background. I told GIF has a restriction, right? There's a restriction on the number of colors. So in cases or in applications where you want your image to have more colors or you want to work with transparent backgrounds, which will be the file format that you'll be using? What do you, when you want a transparent background, what kind of images do you search for on the internet? It is? PNG. PNG, right. Now tell me, we have already answered this. What category does this come under? Is it raster graphics or vector graphics?
Vector graphics.
Vector graphics, right. Okay. So that's all about the different file formats. So the probable question that you can expect is explain the various file formats. And then you may also get a question like explain BMP format, okay? Then you will have to explain the header structures of BMP format. Now this is the probable questions which you can expect when your exam is theoretical in nature, okay? Now if your exam is of MCQ type, then you can expect any questions like this, okay? So now the batch, the current batch is going to have their exams in MCQ type, right? So they'll be getting questions of this type. So those who are students who are having KT in MMS, so they'll get a question paper which has MCQ questions like this, okay? So we cannot predict how your exam is going to be. That's why I gave a small hint. You have to keep in mind such points also. Okay. What's the time? 4:50. Okay. So we will continue in the next session. We'll wind up here for today. Okay. Tomorrow we'll be discussing about image compression. Okay. Now we have 3 more topics left in this chapter. It is Shannon-Fano encoding, JPG compression, and CCIT Group 4 compression. Okay. So tomorrow we'll begin with the next section, that is image compression techniques. Okay.